And welcome everyone to One Heart, One Mind Center for Spiritual Living and our Sunday service on this beautiful August morning. And as I've already kind of kicked us off with some music, I'd really like to invite Lissa, our practitioner of the day, to say a few words for us and just let us hear your wise words.
Thank you. I am feeling very filled with love after that song. It's like it's one of those many things that just, getting into the feeling of kind of like just the joy of life, which is what I was thinking today. But at any rate, with the title of The Ascent of Love, the first thing that came to my mind was return to love. And it's like I began thinking about, for example, the love of little small children. And I thought about Jesus talking about how a little child will lead them. And the fact that if you look at little toddlers and young children, they're just love. That's who they are, basically. And, they reach out they smile. I mean, it's like there's nothing, in my mind, there's nothing quite like a toddler who is on fire. And there's that open heart. And it's kind of like we get I actually was flipping through the Return to Love book, and I came up some of her words is love is what we were born with. Fear is what we learned here. And so and the spiritual journey is the relinquishment or unleashing of fear and the acceptance of love back into our hearts. And I just feel that that's so true. And it's like an example of that kind of love that's just open there and just wants to love you. I know that I had asked people to pray for my grandniece who had her appendix removed and was concerned because she couldn't lift her toddler, JJ, who is 18 months old. And I talked to her recently, and she's much better. And she thanks everyone for their prayers. She said she could feel them. And she also said that JJ was just a wonderful companion, that he would come up to her quite frequently and point to her wound and say, Mama Boo Boo, oh, and then give her a big kiss. And I mean that's just love. And I think that the times that we're able to get into that level of feeling is just so valuable, and it's a big part of our spiritual journey in terms of trying to let go of the things that take us away from that feeling of openness and connection with with other people in the world. And so in light of that, I feel also that arouses gratitude, and gratitude is then what it's like this circle that it's almost like when you're able to feel the gratitude, then you're able to even see more love in the world around you, and then it's like it can be like a circle of love in a sense, that appreciation of all that is God and that is in our world. And so, as more of less of an invocation, I just wanted to share part of a poem by E.E. Cummings, who I always love because he's a little quirky and he has kind of a childlike mind. But at any rate, this is one of his poems. Thank you, God, for most this amazing day, for the leaping greenly spirits of trees, and a blue, true dream of a sky, and for everything which is natural, which is infinite, which is yes. How now the ears of my ears awake, and now the eyes of my eyes are open. So I am very grateful to EE and to God. Our affirmation for August. Love is the very essence of my being. Love is the truth of who I am. Aligned with love, I am guided, healed, and uplifted. I walk in love. Love expresses through me as peace, joy, and wholeness. And so it is.
Thank you, Lisa.
Yes.
I love that poem. That's a
Yeah.
beautiful poem. So I have another little piece of music from Daniel, and it's not a video. So I'm Daniel Nabon. I guess I should use his full name. And so I'm just going to do just audio for this one, but I love this song. I just think he's very poetic and insightful. So here's Daniel's wise words.
What kind of world do I want to see? What kind of world do I want to leave to my children's children? Now is the time to make up my mind, yeah. What kind of world is this gonna be? What kind of world will be my legacy to the generations? For all humankind, it's time to decide what kind of world. Will it be peaceful? Well, am I? Will it be joyful and kind? Will it be all those things a child so easily describes? Oh yeah. Will everybody have enough? Will we speak in the language of love? Somehow I'm suspecting it's all up to what you and I decide. What kind of world do we want to have? When will we be ready to start giving back to this precious place? To every young face, tell every boy and girl, what kind of world? Whoa, 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 do, 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 do. Will it be peaceful? Well, am I? Will it be joyful and kind? Will it be all those things a child so easily describes? Oh yeah. Will everybody have enough? Will we speak in the language of love? Somehow I'm suspecting it depends on what you and I decide. What kind of world do we want to have? When will we be ready to start being that for this precious place? For every young face, tell every boy and girl, what kind of world? Oh, 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 tell every boy and girl, what kind of world? Whoa,
What kind of world? That's what we get to decide, right? Oh, and I love that we get to be a choice. Oh, so we're going to hold everybody that is not, that is generally on our call, that is not on our call this morning. We're going to hold them in love, because I know there's a couple people that are doing a healing thing. So we're going to I'm just going to say good morning again to One Heart, One Mind Center for Spiritual Living, because some people watch the replay. So whether you're in real time or replay, we welcome you into our loving community circle. And I feel like we are this loving circle. You know, we embrace everyone who comes into our space. And this month we're all about love. Last week when we were at Om Center for Spiritual Living, that was so fun with Reverend Suzette. She and I spoke about the expression of love through compassion and loving kindness. Because as our opening song suggested, what the world needs now is love. And you know what? The reality is that we already have it. You know, the gift of love has already been given. We're expressions of love. You know, our source is love. And all we have to do is to feel it within us and unfold the potential of love. You know, it was a little bit like what Daniel was talking about. What kind of world do we want to live in? We have the potential to unfold, and we have the power to unfold that potential into reality, you know, to open to its flow and to receive its goodness. And it's just really a matter of recognizing it and feeling its presence. You know, love and God are synonymous. They're one and the same. You know, love is the essence of God, and God is the essence of love. We can't separate the two. So love, God, spirit, source, the divine presence, however you name it, it is the most potent power in the universe. Actually, it's the only power in the universe. You know, it created and it continues to create everything. Each of us is an expression of this source, this presence. And we're so much more than we think generally. You know, we tend to put these limits on us because we're walking around in this time and space reality and our humanness, but we really are so much more than we think we are. We're not just human beings. We're not just products of our past or even our current experiences. We're not our hereditary patterns. We're not our biology or our socioeconomic standing. You know, we're not our possessions. We're not our past traumas or our challenges or anything else that comes from the outside world. And we are not the stories that we've written about ourselves and keep telling ourselves over and over, you know, and about our place in the world or the world itself. We aren't any of those stories or any of those assumptions, if you will. You know, and while they may influence us and have given us opportunities for growth and expansion, we are emanations of the only life there is, a life of limitless love and intelligence and potential. And we experience this presence in our lives to the degree that we're willing to know it and to identify ourselves with it. Ernest Holmes, our founder, told us that we experience God's good to the degree that what did he say? He said, to the degree that we partake of its divine nature, which of course is our nature. And this is the degree to which we will experience its goodness in our lives. You know, and we don't have to pray God to be God. God doesn't change. We do. We do. God is God, no matter how we define it or what we call it. God is simply God. God simply is. You know, in the sacred Hindu text, which is actually one of my favorites, the Bhagavad Gita, it says that, what does it say? It says, water wets it not, fire burns it not, the wind blows it not away. And this is the part that I really love. When you name it, you can't find it. And when you find it, you can't name it. It's an ineffable presence. It's a sacred love. And it's as gentle as a whisper and as strong and as loud as thunder. Holmes defined it in a more contemporary way when he wrote, God is not a person. God is a presence personified in us. I love that. God is a presence personified in us. Spirituality is not a thing. It's an atmosphere of God's presence, of God's goodness, truth, and beauty. Yeah, Holmes really understood this presence. And it's the embodiment of this atmosphere of God's presence that we can choose to live from, as conscious creators of our own lives, which of course contributes to the collective good for everyone. Everyone is influenced when we hold that atmosphere of God, because we're thinking into the same collective mind, the same collective consciousness. In the science of mind philosophy, we say that the past holds no precedent, meaning that the past has no power over our current experience. And that we're not limited by our current situations or experiences or challenges or anything. We're not condemned to repeat the same old patterns over and over. Because at any moment, we can choose to enter a new state of consciousness. It's simply a shift in, do I believe in my limitation, or do I believe in the potential of the divine? At any moment, we can assume a new truth about ourselves and about our lives. At any moment, we can feel the tone, the resonance, the vibration of divine love. We can wash ourselves in the givingness of divine love, of God's infinite love. And we can hold that feeling tone of God's love as we hold our heart's desires, as we hold what we wish to experience and see in our lives. We're one with the power and the source of everything. I mean, that is big. When I say it, sometimes it rolls off my tongue, but really think about it. We're one with the power and the source of everything. And as metaphysicians, we know that this divine consciousness that we are one with precedes all form and all experience. And we know that when we are in total alignment with this divine presence of love, it moves through us as the expression of our good. Its flow is guided and directed by our intentions, the intentions and the beliefs that we hold. But the creative power is the flow of God's givingness. It's not sourced from us, but it moves through us, and we direct it into our good, into what we would like to see. And our good serves the common good. My good's your good. And as I express the good and the love of God in my life, I contribute to the collective experience of love in the world. As I express peace and prosperity and joy in my own life, I contribute these vibrations, these qualities to the collective experience of everyone, which is really the focus of today's message. Love's ascent, love's rising, the rising up of the collective experience of love on our planet for everyone. Creating a collective consciousness of love that has the potential to guide and to shape humanity as we individually unfold into our divine nature. We invite everyone to collectively unfold into the nature of God, which is the only truth there is. So for those of us that are practitioners, which is everyone, I don't just mean licensed practitioners, I mean all of us, any of us that practice affirmative prayer, who practice meditation, who practice visioning or visualization, who participate in spiritual community, who surround themselves with people who hold a conscious intention to grow and to expand and to unfold. This is practice. This makes us practitioners. You know, we have an understanding that the atmosphere of good, of love, as Holmes called it, I might call it the frequency or the vibration, it doesn't matter. You know, this is, it doesn't only determine our individual experiences, it contributes to the whole, but it assists the unfoldment of all of humanity. You know, we are all one with the whole. We contribute to the whole. And as I said earlier, love is always here. But we are love, and all the aspects of God are already within all of us. But they do have to unfold individually and collectively. And we have to begin with ourselves to contribute to that collective transformation, you know, to assist the transformation of our planet, if you will. And I mean, think about it, an acorn already has everything it needs to become a mighty oak. But the potential within the acorn has to unfold. It has to express its potential. And so too, do we have to move fully into our divinity to express that divinity in our humanity. And we do that as practitioners. We practice the presence. We practice the presence of love through affirmative prayer, through meditation, through visioning, visualization, sacred giving, sacred community, and so many other practices. Where I find myself these days, and it may be the same for you, I suspect that it probably is. And this is not a political observation. It's a moral and an ethical observation. As I look around, I really hardly recognize the complexion of our government and our society and our culture. It kind of seems to have turned toward the worst of our human leanings rather than what Abraham Lincoln called the better angels of our nature. You know, and I believe in those better angels of our nature. I believe in love. And it is my intention and my commitment to develop the better angels of my nature so that I can express them in my life and contribute to that resonance of the whole, so that love may ascend. And what I've realized kind of just hit me as I was putting together my talk. What I've realized is that love expresses itself in so many different ways in our lives and in the world. You know, it is the essence of creation. And it expresses itself as sentimental love, as sweet and caring love, as that opening song might suggest. And it expresses itself as strong foundational love. You know, an expression, I think it can also express itself as ethical love. And by ethical love, I mean it can be a way to guide and direct our words and our actions in the world. You know, ethics are something that we are in integrity with, that we keep to and are dedicated to. And if we look at love as this ethical love, we can see it as a way to guide and direct our world and our actions. I mean, our words, not our world. You know, we can become seated at the depth of our being in love and practice living from that atmosphere of being. You know, and the truth is that it is impossible to be in fear or to hate or to feel anxious or confused or anything else when we are in the frequency of love, when we're in that high frequency, that high vibe of love. You know, you can feel it. Just take a moment, take a breath, and feel love within you. Feel the love we have connected to each other. Feel love. We did it in the meditation before the service began, in the pre-service meditation. Now, I was listening to Michael Beckwith the other day, and he was talking about Dr. Howard Thurman, whose writing I have always admired. I use one of his quotes to guide myself in my moments of doubt or uncertainty. I'm sure I've shared it before. He said, keep fresh before me the moments of my high resolve. And I use that when I need to be reminded of my clarity and commitment to love. And Beckwith read a beautiful passage from Dr. Howard Thurman that I'm going to share with you, because I think it speaks so clearly to this idea that we are human. We are going to have moments when we experience fear and uncertainty. And these are the moments when we are called to be practitioners, to ground ourselves in the loving environment that we want to establish as the ground of our being and the ground that we live from and the ground of the collective human experience. But before I share his passage, you might not know a lot about Dr. Howard Thurman. You might, but I just want to share a little bit about his life in case you don't know much about him. He was really an extraordinary man. He was born in 1899 and he died in 1981. He was an African-American educator. He was an author. And most notably, he was a civil rights leader. He was a mentor to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and other leaders in the civil rights movement. And this is one of the most fascinating facts about him. In 1935, Thurman traveled to India, where he met with Mahatma Gandhi. And Gandhi really influenced Thurman's teachings on nonviolence and social justice. And Thurman introduced these same ideas that he gleaned, that he gathered from Gandhi, into the American civil rights movement, which is pretty amazing. And Thurman really was known as a Christian mystic. I think that might be one of the reasons why he wasn't quite as well known, because his writings and his teachings always emphasized the necessity for a personal encounter or a personal relationship with God. The necessity to establish a deep and loving connection to the divine. And his spiritual insights greatly influenced his contribution to the civil rights movement. He believed that change must be grounded in love. And Thurman's definition of love, and I thought this was really curious when I read it, because it's exactly my definition for compassion, which, I thought was beautiful. So how Thurman's definition for love is to meet a person where they are, but to always treat them or see them as they could be, as they can be, of the potential within them. See them as their fulfilled potential. Meet them where they are and know the potential within them and hold that space for them. And I believe this is the way to live the love of God. But in all honesty, in practice, it can be challenging. And I know that I have to daily put on my practitioner hat to prepare my life to live in that atmosphere of love, to hold the frequency of love, no matter what I encounter. So I'm going to share Howard Thurman's passage because it's long. And sometimes I think when things are long, it helps us to really kind of see them. So I put it on a handout. Oops, maybe I better make sure I have it up on my desktop, or I'm not going to be able to share it. So here we go. Let's see, where is it? It's right here. Okay. Doing my little Zoom dance here. Okay, and here's the passage, and I'm going to have to, it's long, so I'm going to have to scroll. Can you see it? Everybody, can you see it now? Okay. Okay, good. Just checking. All right, so I'm going to put some glasses on so I can actually see it a little more clearly. So here is what he wrote. This is called, I want to be more loving. I want to be more loving in my heart. I want to be more loving. Often there are good and sufficient reasons for exercising what seems a clear, direct resentment. Again and again, I find it hard to hold in check the sharp retort, the biting comeback, even when it seems that someone has done violence to my self-respect and decent regard. How natural it seems to give as good as I get, to take nothing lying down, to announce to all a sundry and thousand ways that no one can run over me and get away with it. All this is part of the thicket in which my heart gets caught again and again. What a beautiful line. All this is a part of the thicket in which my heart gets caught again and again. But deep within me, I want to be more loving, to glow with a warmth that will take the chill off the room, which I share with those whose lives touch mine in the traffic of our comings and goings. I want to be more loving. I want to be more loving in my heart. It is often easy to have the idea in mind, the plan to be more loving, to see it with my mind and give consent to the thought of being loving. This is crystal clear. But I want to be more loving in my heart. I must feel like loving. I must erase the tension in my heart that ejects the sharp barb, the stinging word. I want to be more loving with unconscious awareness and deliberate intent. Unconscious awareness and deliberate intent. I shall be a kind, a gracious human being. Thus, those who walk the way with me may find it easier to love, to be gracious because of the love of God, which is increasingly expressed in my living. I want to be more loving in my heart. I don't know if we can say it any more clearly. I want to be more loving in my heart. And what I really loved about his eloquent articulation of being human is how we might feel justified in pushing back at someone when we feel we've been wronged in some way, how we might feel justified in pushing back hard. And yet Thurman rises from that energy that would want to push back into the energy of love. He rises and transforms his inner environment. He moves through, how did he put it? The thicket in which his heart gets caught again and again. Thurman recognized that the energy of pushing back will only perpetuate that same energy. It reminds me very much of Ernest Holmes' suggestion. I think it was in his Sermon by the Sea, which was his last public address, when he suggested that we be for something and against nothing. We can't fix the past, but we can gather its wisdom and we can create something new. And you know what? We have so many amazing, powerful examples of people who have gone through horrific experiences and learned to rise, to allow love to ascend. Nelson Mandela, his years of incarceration, became the president of South Africa, for heaven's sakes. Immaculée Ilibagiza, you know, the woman who survived in a small bathroom with what, 5, 6 other women during the Rwandan Holocaust, and learned to forgive all of the people that killed her family. And there's so many others. Anne Frank, Viktor Frankl, so many great teachers who were able to allow love to ascend through them, even when they had, as Thurman called it, good and sufficient reasons to hate and to be bitter and to strike back. But this is not the energy frequency that will create a new and loving, peaceful world. We must stand on love and rise from here. You know, one of the lines that stood out for me is to glow with a warmth that will take the chill off the room, which I share with those whose lives touch mine in the traffic of my comings and going. You know, we radiate that energy when we let it rise within us. This, to me, is what Ernest Holmes meant when he referred to living in the atmosphere of love. I want to live in this place. I want to be able to let love be my overarching response to life. Its joys, its challenges, all of its uninvited guests. You know, I just went through a very challenging family situation where the opportunity to be divisive and to push back presented itself. And I was just so grateful that my family didn't respond that way. Rather, we all came together in love. And we did end up setting some very firm boundaries with one family member, but we did it while standing on love. And I believe that the result will be a direct result of the love that we stood on. You know, love begets love. It isn't easy to be loving when you're feeling angry. But I'm so glad that we were able to keep that love alive. And now we get to watch it rise up, ascend. I, like Thurman, want to be more loving in my heart. I want to be more loving with unconscious awareness and deliberate intention. This is why I practice. This is why we practice, to consciously live from that deliberate intention, to be gracious because of the love of God that is unfolding within us. It's so important. You know, as I said earlier, we're emanations of the same power and presence that created and continues to create the universe. You know, it's strong and true. It's love. And as we allow love to be the ethical standard by which we live our lives, the more we contribute to our own unfolding and the unfolding of the collective consciousness. I believe that we always have to be willing to ask, are my intentions grounded in the highest good for all? Am I allowing love to ascend into its highest potential? Am I making space for the atmosphere of life, of love, the ethics of love to guide my life? So, from that space, deep connection, let's just know with me, come into that conscious awareness that God is all there is, that we are one with it, that there is nothing that separates us from our divine source. And it is powerful, and it is kind, and it is love, and it is strong, and it is soft, and it is sweet, and it is all that is. It permeates everything. It is the fabric of the universe. We are one with it. And as such, we can direct the flow of its constant and infinite givingness. So I speak my word for and about everybody on this call that there is an experience of love at the heart of who we are. And we allow that experience of love to flow through us and be the love we experience in our lives and the transformative power of our world. That we stand in that no matter what. That we become the practitioners of love. Practitioners who constantly, daily remind ourselves of who we truly are. So I'm just grateful for this. I just know it's true. I have no doubts. Doubt floats away, it never existed. I stand in the allness and the reality of God itself, the givingness. So grateful. And I just allow this to be, knowing that law will bring it about. It has no choice. That's its job. So for this and so much more, I simply say thank you. I allow it to be, and together we say, and so it is.
And so it is.
And so it is. So it was all about love today. All about love. And, it is so, we really do have to find that place where we can balance being human and not being hard on ourselves, just recognizing, stuff comes up, but pulling ourselves back into the divinity that we know we are. Just our little human dance. So, Rob is not here today. Yeah, he spoke with you, Lissa? Okay, all right. There you are.
I just had to unmute. Yes, so in that consciousness of love, let us think about our consciousness of love for one another and for one heart, one mind, and be able to be grateful for the fact that we have the opportunity to give back to one heart, one mind with our contribution. And so we can do that now. I think everybody knows how
Yeah, I think we do.
either
Ways
with
to give.
Venmo.
Yeah. I'm just going to put up the sacred giving affirmation. Is okay?
Okay.
If you don't know the ways to give, then text me and I'll send them to you. Oops, I got the wrong thing up. My bad. All right, we'll get it. We'll get it. Let's see. Come on. Sometimes I have to admit that right after I do the talk, I'm a little bit spacey. I find myself doing.
Well, you're in another mind space.
Really is. That's it.
Kind of have to walk back into this dimension.
Yeah, I gotta walk back into reality. For some reason, my computer is not working. Can I just say it, Lissa? Because I can't get it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. The sacred giving is, I give with a grateful heart, knowing that spirit is the source and the substance of all supply. I joyfully participate in the circulation of abundance. My offering blesses the world and returns to me multiplied. I am grateful and I am prosperous, and so it is.
So
It is. For some reason, I could not get it to stay up for me. It was kind of weird. So I do have some more music for us. Or do we want to do the benediction first? Lisa, what do you think?
Yeah, did you have any?
And then I'll play the music. Okay.
Did you have any announcements, Michelle?
Oh, announcements. Yes. Thank you for reminding me. As
Right.
I said, I sometimes get a little spacey. So I have the amazing opportunity of going to visit my daughter and her family and my little grandsons tomorrow. And I have invited, and Relaine has graciously accepted the opportunity to lead the Monday night prayer group. So Relaine will be leading the prayer group tomorrow night. We will not have class on Tuesday. We're just going to skip this week because I will be gone. And as rarely as I get up to meet, just to be with my family, I think I need to skip the class because I'm not going to prepare. And so we will meet again on the following Tuesday, I want to say that it's the 19th. Let me see. So this Tuesday, yes, on the 19th. And then I will send it's just the next two chapters in part 2 that we're gonna go over. And God, that guy's good. I like what he has to say. Anyway, so we'll be doing that. And then I will be back to do Sunday service next week. And then, because I'll be back Thursday night. So I guess that's all I have. Yeah, that's it.
Okay. So why don't we come together then with our spirit of love and gratitude. And I am so grateful for the fact that we as a community are the embodiment of a spirit of love. We're connected with one another, and as we explore the loving nature within ourselves and connected to each other, it is a vibration that moves out into the world and adds to those others in the world who are working for a more peaceful, loving, joyful community for all. And I know that each of us has our own ability to express love in the world. And we look at the first question that Michelle posed today, which is what kind of a world would we like to see? And the fact that we can be the love, the peace, the joy, whatever, the compassion, that we can bring that into the world ourselves to continue on with the whole issue of love that Michelle so powerfully shared with us today. And I feel as if we're left with a great deal to think about and to look within in terms of our own desire to have a more loving heart. And so I speak my word for all of us, knowing that this is our ultimate dream, and that we can achieve that every day in big and small ways. And I'm so grateful for this community, and I'm so grateful to know the truth of love, the truth of the fact that there is one spirit that enlivens each and every one of us and is the presence that is never absent. And so I release my word into the law with grateful thankings, and we release it together by saying, and so it is.
So it is.
Oh, that was beautiful, Lissa. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
And here's another song about love. Imagine that.
Imagine that.
As time has unfolded me, it has revealed to me life's nothing less than sublime. With every thought I make, every last breath I take, may I be gracious and kind. Love, I invite you to open up this heart of mine. Love, cover me, light any darkness. Love, cover me, right every wrong. Cause me to see love over hatred. Guide me to be faithful and strong. Love, cover me. Love, cover me. Kindness wash over me, make me a symphony. Play every note you can find. Make me reverberate, gently deactivate, slowly flow out of my mind. Find me a melody, dance and let my anthem be. Love, cover me, light any darkness. Love, cover me, right every wrong. Cause me to see love over hatred. Guide me to be faithful and strong. Love, cover me. 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 I will not be shaken. I will not be moved. Love, cover me. May my heart awaken, tenderness be proved. Love, cover me. Love, cover me. Love, love, love. love, 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 love. Love, I invite you to open up this heart of
Not sure what happened. Sorry about that. Come on.
mine. Love, cover me, light any darkness. Love, cover me, right every wrong. Cause me to see love over hatred. Guide me to be faithful and strong. Love, cover me. Love, cover me. Love, cover me. Love, cover me. Love, 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 love. Love, 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 love.
Yeah. Ah, so that's where we are. We want love to cover us. I am going to. For some reason, the computer's acting funny. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording now.